Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Camel.
Good evening.
And Mr. Adam.
Hello.
And, of course, as it is once again a Friday, I'm the keeper for this evening, Sanguine. How are all of you doing tonight?
Could be better, could be worse. It's nice and cold. Again, not comparatively to you and Adam, but it's cold enough for me, damn it. Too cold.
Wait.
There's a cold enough?
Where are you at again?
I'm in Oklahoma.
It's
I'm
not
south
cold
of
out there?
you and Sanguine.
I would have thought it would be cold out there too.
It is. It's like 29 right now.
Oh.
I stand by my initial question of there's a cold enough?
Yes. And we met my threshold for cold enough about 30, 40 degrees ago.
No.
I like to
Still
stick around
warm.
somewhere between, like, I don't know. My ideal temperature is like 70 to 72. That suits me down to the ground.
Too warm.
You
The
kidding
ideal
me?
temperature. Yeah, that's way too warm.
Hey Vince, what's up, Cryptic? What's going on, Talik? That's beautiful weather right there, man. That's shorts and flip flops, t-shirt all day.
No. If we're talking perfect shorts and t-shirt weather, then you have to knock that down at least 4 degrees. And really...
66? No, man. No.
Yeah, like
no.
68, 66. And that's the high end of comfortable. Because really you want to knock that down to somewhere in between like 50 and 68. That's
Look,
comfortable.
just because you're a snowman doesn't mean the rest of us are, dude. That your scaling is a bit skewed here. I gotta tell you.
Hey, as I've said, I have a massive temperature range that I'm perfectly fine with. It's just most of it results in other people being frozen.
Yeah, and mine tends to be on the hotter side of the spectrum there.
Yeah, but yours is narrow and on the hot side.
Yeah, it's because mine's right.
No. Clearly, having the wider range is superior.
No, being comfortable is superior. And 70 to 72, that's perfect.
Yes, but if I'm comfortable in a wider range and being comfortable...
We're not
superior.
discussing your comfort here, Sanguine. We're talking about mine.
Fuck your comfort. And how about you, Adam?
Yeah. Where do you set your thermostat at, Adam? What are we talking?
And how are you doing? Because we just skipped over that as well as we started bickering about temperature.
Well, I'm kind of shocked at how fast time is flying, considering Thanksgiving is next week.
Well, it all depends on how hard you throw the clock.
Well, not very hard. I don't want to break it. It's expensive. But beyond that, with the whole temperature, I don't know. I'm kind of with Sanguine's initial suggestion.
Of the 68?
But when he went colder, that was like, yeah, no, I don't know. And only because I don't know, when it gets too hot or even warm, it just feels kind of uncomfortable after a while. But it did.
I have one major argument for cold clearly being better. You can always warm up more. There's only so much you can do to cool down. And
Well,
it
yes,
costs
and
a
hold
ton
on.
more to do so.
Hold on, this goes with that, because that's kind of my argument with it, is you can warm up, but with the heat, actually I brought this up with a coworker today. What would you rather have, a dry heat like Arizona or Texas, or like a humidity heat, like Florida or Louisiana type thing?
Dry heat every day.
Yeah, I'd definitely take the dry because I have, depending on the time of year and drought conditions, I have both or either one. You know, like some days it'll be like dry as dry as fuck, and then a nice little thunderstorm rolls in.
Yeah,
What's
dry
up, Cryptic?
wins every time. Hello, Cryptic.
Hello.
Yeah,
I like
it's
so
not a
my-
lot. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do
Okay,
you want to weigh in on how your day is and what's your preferred heat?
My preferred heat is right now. It's like cold as shit, but it's dry. Well, there's snow on the ground, but it's still dry.
Yep.
Because I live in Colorado. Yeah.
I'll remind like I don't like the cold because I've also got the wind, and the heat
Oh, yeah,
not
wind.
nearly as bad when you got the wind.
All I need is a windbreaker, and I'm good to go down to negative.
Yeah, it's like
60.
cold is only one thing. It's either going to be cold or really cold. But heat,
Yeah,
it's
if the
you're gonna
air wasn't
have
moving
heat.
all that much, I mean, the cold wouldn't be nearly as bad, in my opinion.
Like I said, all you need is something to break the
Yeah,
wind
you
off
can you can block the wind. You can't
Windbreakers are a
block
thing.
the humidity.
So I do have one quick question that I'm going to ask all three of you. I have
Uh-oh.
3 different Japanese whiskeys that I'm trying to decide which one I want to go for with my dinner tonight. My
Whichever
dinner
one's spelled
is
correctly.
Well, all 3 of them are spelled correctly because they're all 3 from a Scottish lineage, which means that they don't have an E.
Yep.
And all 3 of them do lack an E, which is appropriate for this. So the 3 options that I have is I have Akashi, which is a rather lovely, about medium darkness in color, so just a nice, decent amber color whiskey. I have Hadazaki, which is a shockingly pale whiskey, but it's because they use Japanese white oak barrels with a fairly light char. So it looks almost like a white wine in coloration, but has a really nicely balanced flavor. And then I have Kaneko, which is kind of in between those two. And that one is an Okinawan whiskey. And if you need to know the dinner in order to decide which of those would best fit it, I'm doing a New York strip rice bowl where I marinated the New York strip in a splash of whiskey, some koji, and a splash of sake. The other drinks that I'm having with it are a Junmai sake. Ooh, I forgot. This one is actually a Nagori Junmai. I need to pour those back in so I can get the nice cloudiness from my Nagori rather than just the clear sake that I currently have. So I need to get those back in. And it's a Junmai Nagori, Cloudy Dreams by Rihaku, and really nice. Love the sake. Then I also have a Sapporo Reserve Golden.
I'm gonna be biased. I go for the Okinawan because I used to live there, so. But it does pair very well with like a marinated beef or like a steak. So.
Copy that. So 1 vote for the Okinawan. Anyone gainsay him, or is the Okinawan going to take it this evening?
I mean, honestly,
I
that
mean-
sounds delicious. So I'd go with that too.
Fantastic. So that's 2 votes. Doesn't really matter, but what would you say, Camel?
I say go for it.
You've already been outvoted. That's why it doesn't really matter.
Okinawa gave us Mr. Miyagi. I'm cool with that.
Nice. So I shall go with the Okinawan, which is the Kaneko, or Ko, rather, whiskey, and that shall be my whiskey for this evening.
So that I just saw something on Twitter that I'm a little shocked and appalled by.
Which is?
Well, yeah.
The U.S. loses top spot in FIBA rankings after 12 years as Spain takes over. Spain, as a country, is rated better in basketball than the United States. The country that invented basketball.
How's that?
Well, to be fair, nobody cares about FIBA or FIFA because they're both corrupt organization anyway.
Mhm.
It's like
Well, I
money
mean-
laundering. They basically
It's
you know
like what was it 04 Sydney Olympics where the men didn't get gold? I mean, like they lost to Argentina. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh no! If you want to talk about embarrassing, the time that we lost to France.
yeah. Anytime we
Don't
touch,
fucking remind me of losing to the French. No.
nobody cares about the French, but you know what? Losing to them is even worse. So
Yeah. That's
This-
when we should have all hung our head in shame. Was when the American national team lost
Now-
to France.
I mean,
in
I
basketball.
wouldn't care so much if it was still a bunch of college kids, like playing as amateurs. Okay, fine. But these are professional fucking athletes. They get paid to play basketball. What are you guys doing?
yeah, but have you seen our I guess you would like to call it NBA lately because there are a bunch of woke ass motherfuckers who care nothing more about A, getting money from China, and B, getting money
I
from China.
can't watch NBA because growing up playing basketball, like every 2 seconds they're traveling.
Yep. And the thing that pisses me off the most about it is it used to be that the teams were fairly well balanced.
Yep.
So it was always a fairly exciting game. And that was what made the absolute standouts, the Michael Jordans, so fucking amazing. It was that they were competing against their peerage and they were kicking the shit out of them. Now you have a bunch of players that what they cared about was just winning rather than having the best competition and having the most interesting games. So you had a load of them all go for the same team and purposefully go to the same team in order to stack the odds in their favor.
Well, even on top of that, you the NBA players nowadays have mental fucking weaknesses. Like Ben Simmons, right? Philadelphia. He used to play for Philadelphia, now he's with Brooklyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
he-
forgot where Simmons was playing. I haven't kept track of players.
I still do, even though because I still don't watch it, but I still
I'll
track that
catch
kind of
highlights
stuff.
from time to time and whatnot. But yeah,
Well, Ben Simmons, like they gave him like a basically $100-something million contract, right? So he hurt his back, decided not to play for one season with Philadelphia. They pissed everybody off, even though he was cleared to play. He told them he had mental blockage, whatever. So they finally got fed up and traded him to Brooklyn. Guess what he's doing in Brooklyn right now? Well, he spent another year off in Brooklyn because of the mental block, quote unquote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this dude's making him like $30 to $40 million a year. Not
Well, I
playing
mean,
at all.
if you're not playing, then you don't. I mean,
No,
If
they
you don't
paid
play,
his
you
ass.
don't
if
make
I
it.
go to work and I don't work, I don't get paid because they
Yep.
send me home
Well, they
or they fire me.
Well, he said he has a mental health issue, so he got paid for it. He got paid for fucking sitting out for 2 years. Now he's playing with Brooklyn, and he's sucking because he's saying he has another basically mental health issues. I'm like, dude, you sign I think a multi-million-dollar contract, right? And you've been
Yep.
paid all that money to do nothing. And they've been paid more than Michael Jordan ever got paid while playing in NBA.
This is why I couldn't be like an NBA coach. I mean, aside from like experience and whatnot, just the attitude. Like, oh, you got a mental block? Well, here, go smoke a joint and go fucking warm up. You're a professional now.
Yep.
This is the job. Get to it.
This is a job. You have two choices. Do you want to have the job, or do you not want to have the job? If you don't want to have it, there's plenty of other people that do.
Yeah, the top players in the NBA right now are making about $40 to $50 million a year. I have a shitload of money for a mental block. And yeah, some of these players, they get hurt. When they get like hurt, like Achilles or ACL injury, it's 1 year plus 1 year of mental fucking recovery. So it's technically, if they get injured 1 year, it takes them 2 years to return. And that's just fucking ridiculous, you know? And most of the time it's because, oh yeah, they're trying to get over like get over their hesitation to play. I'm like, dude, you're making fucking $40 million a year. Suck it up and play. But it's the modern NBA.
Makes you wonder it makes you wonder if we'll see somebody like Jordan or Kobe again.
No, we won't. We will never. LeBron is like the shit, so nobody cares.
I mean, like everyone knows the story about Jordan with his broken foot and how he ended up recovering and that foot ended up being stronger than the other foot by the time he was done. But like Kobe, he tore his Achilles in a game, and he limped. You know, he got fouled, and he limped to the free throw line to take his free throw before limping off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the reason why
he was back, and then he was back from that like 8 months later. He started the next season.
Yeah, no. That doesn't happen nowadays. I'm sorry, Sanguine. Nowadays, if they tear ACL, MCL, whatever the hell they tear, right? It's 1 year for recovery plus another fucking year of mental recovery. It's like fucking ridiculous. You pay them basically 2 years for free because they have an injury that on average you can come back within a year, less than a year.
Yeah, it's the same reason why if I'm going to watch football, I'll watch college football. Yeah. Because college football, people still give a damn about the game. And it's clear that they give a damn because there's people that they know that this is their last time playing. They want to have the memories. They don't want to remember it was their last time on the field and they pussed out. So they push themselves. And even better than that, when it comes to the sheer extent that the players are willing to go through, fucking high school. It isn't anywhere near the level of play, but the shit that high school football players will gleefully put themselves through because they just love fucking playing. Oh, good God, that makes it fascinating. And this is someone that played high school football and did so in that spirit of, I didn't think about, well, what if I end my career here? No, I played because it was fucking fun. And I played hard. I pushed myself. I mean, fuck's sake. I went back in 4 plays after tearing my ACL. I had a 74% tear of my ACL. I went back in 4 plays later. I went back in 4 plays after a nasty fucking dislocation of my shoulder. Because it was fun. And fuck them. They don't get to take me out of the game like that. There was only one injury that took me out of a game for the rest of that game. And there was only one injury that took me out for a season when it came to football. The one injury that took me out of a game entirely was a non-concussion head injury. Because I literally could not put my helmet back on.
Damn.
Yeah, I had a knot on the side of my head that was about the size of my fist, and you've seen my fucking hands, Adam.
Yes.
And that was from
And
someone
one of those
ear
on the
hole.
side of your head. Yep.
Yeah, one of those stuck to the side of my head because I got ear holed. Do all of you know what ear holing is?
What model truck did they use to run you over, Sanguine?
It was another player who knocked himself the fuck out on my head. And I mean, he hit me, he just completely boneless, he hit his own fucking off button on the side of my head. And an ear holing, for those who don't know what that term means, it means that someone runs up onto one side of you and they headbutt the side of your head. So it is the strongest part of their skull and the strongest part of their helmet versus the weakest part of your skull and the weakest part of your helmet. So it is something that people do in order to knock someone out if it's done intentionally. There are times when someone will accidentally ear hole. This was not an accidental ear holding. This was an intentional ear holding. And like I said, the dude just went completely goddamn boneless on the side of my head. I continued running for a little bit and realized that I was seeing double when I hit 2 number 21s coming at slightly different angles. So I tapped my helmet, came off the field, and like I said, ended up with this massive knot on the side of my head, so I was out for the rest of the game.
No, Uzi has a point about athletes having like a short amount of time to play, right?
Yep.
But the problem is, like, a lot of these guys in the professional leagues, they make so much money, and you know, it seems like a lot of the NBA players are just milking the living shit out of guaranteed contracts, because in the NBA you get a guaranteed contract, right?
Yep.
So when you get injured, okay, so you spend whatever time you recovered and spend extra time saying you have some kind of whatever, you guarantee to get paid close to $100 million to do nothing. And you save yourself 2 years of wear and tear, right?
And it's the same problem that people have when they watch soccer. Because, yeah, there's injuries that you shouldn't go back in after. I'm not saying that a professional athlete should get a 74% ACL tear and go right back in 4 plays after that happened. Not saying that at all.
Right.
But the sorts of injuries that they will come out, not just for that game, but the next few games when they get, is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that people complain about when they look at soccer, because there's a reason why there's the stereotype of a soccer player. They get tapped, they have the ball taken from them in the process, and after the ball's kicked away from them, they suddenly collapse to the ground, writhing in pain. Then their team gets the ball back, and they're immediately back up on their feet, running down the field to continue playing.
Yeah, I don't like flopping. That's just...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And that's the thing that annoys me about a lot of professional sports, because it seems like it's a lot of people flopping. And there are notable exceptions. Of course, there's absolutely always going to be notable exceptions. But the fact that there are notable exceptions that, well, they ended up slightly spraining their arm and they continued playing, and oh my God, isn't that awesome? That shouldn't be considered awesome. That should be a, oh yeah, sucks that you kind of sprained your arm. Get back on the fucking field.
But a lot of these athletes are very coddled nowadays. So, I mean, what can you do, you know?
Yep.
Speaking of people
Sorry,
being
no.
coddled, oh, go ahead.
Oh, the best you can do is not watch like I do. I don't fucking watch it.
Yep.
I was like,
I watch my Oklahoma State Cowboys. That's about it. So,
Yeah, like I said,
but
I'll watch college occasionally. I'll watch.
oh, tomorrow's the
High
Bedlam
s-
game too.
Well, occasionally, if I see a high school game for some reason, like if.
Oh
I'm-
yeah, high school
and
playoffs
in-
are going on right now too.
If it's high school playoffs and it's a televised high school game,
Oh, which one of those Oklahoma high schools was it that played on ESPN2 earlier this season? I think Bixby was one of them. But yeah, I mean, if it's something local like that, like a couple of Oklahoma high school teams on ESPN, I'll stop and watch that. I'll still watch my Cowboys. But yeah, I don't have any care to watch the NFL.
Yeah.
But I do have something to transition us to. There's been another climate attack on the art world.
which one did they try to destroy now?
Apparently, as a BMW painted by Andy Warhol. It was
Okay,
dusted
that
with
one's
flour by climate change protesters in Milan.
That one's less. Oh my fucking god! Really? To me,
Well,
because-
I mean, it's not like oh my god, like they could have destroyed this priceless artwork. Like, first of all, I don't give a shit about Andy Warhol.
exactly.
I never even knew about this until they put flour on it.
I'd be
But-
much happier if all of this shit happened to Andy Warhol versus Renoir's and.
But when do you think people will finally get tired of this shit? And when can we expect to see people that do this just like have their kidneys beaten on with truncheons? Because this is getting ridiculous, or parking their ass in the middle of a highway blocking traffic. Like, when can we just start kicking the shit out of them?
Well, there is a change going in that direction. I mean, you remember the BMW one
Oh,
from a few weeks ago, right?
Was it BMW that they were at the planet? I thought it was a Mercedes. Or is it the same thing?
I could have sworn it was a BMW, but it might have been Mercedes. We can double check that. But
yeah, like they went. What's? Well, see, now I'm wondering if it was actually either one of those two. But yeah, like they went into the plant,
almost
glued
positive it
themselves.
was.
They glued themselves to the floor, and
Yep.
everyone's like, "All right, well, we're going home. Our shift's over. Have a nice night." Flicked off the lights, turned off the heat, and just left.
and the protesters were complaining that they aren't given a bucket to shit in.
Well, you should have thought of that before you glued yourself somewhere that wasn't within, ass reach of a toilet.
Yeah, and that was the response. It was, we aren't the ones that did this. You did this. We aren't going to help you disrupt our business. Are you fucking retarded?
To be fair, like BMW, they actually sent some people out there like every hour to say, "Hey, you still alive? Cool, whatever."
Yep.
It's not like they completely abandoned them. Like, well, we're not going to provide you a place to
Well,
piss
yeah.
and shit.
I mean, I appreciate the passive aggressiveness of just like closing up shop and leaving them glued there for the night to think about how dumb they are. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. But like, when do people get to the point where they're just like, you know what? You're so exceedingly retarded that the only way to teach you is to, spill some of your blood. We gotta beat some sense into you, and you need to realize that this is, the juice is not worth the squeeze on this.
And I'm
There
quickly
are better ways to
double-checking-
make your point about the climate than getting your
Hold
skull
on,
cracked
hold on,
like
hold
an
on.
egg.
So are you saying that a good solution to this would be a deterrent that's
Yes, there should be a
So-
very steep price to pay if you want to make an ass of yourself in this manner. Yes.
yes.
Like I said, if I had... Oh, it was Volkswagen. You were right.
Volkswagen,
It wasn't
right.
BMW. It was Volkswagen that did this. And I fucking love it.
I mean,
They were complaining that they were left in the building with the lights off and the heat off. That they weren't given a bucket to shit in. That they had to have people from outside bring them food rather than BMW providing them with food. And it's just like, yeah, you're being an asshole to their business. Why the fuck?
but I'm
would
just
they
wondering,
make
like,
your life easier?
how do you go unnoticed carrying bags of flour into a fucking museum? Is there nobody just going like, hey, that's a little odd. What are you doing? Stop right there. You know, why do you have baking products in an art museum, ma'am?
My guess is they probably shoved it under their shirt. And nowadays you can't really stop someone from looking like a series of garbage bags stacked on top of each other.
I think this one chick actually did glue herself to the floor. Well, like, there's a little clip, you know, it shows some people being dragged away, and you know, then they're like, you know, sitting all Indian style, you know, holding hands in front of the car. Just beat them. They'll go away.
Mhm.
We used to understand this.
Yeah. And I still say what should be one of the ways of dealing with this is anytime that you have someone glue themselves to the road, because that's happened a bunch of places. Immediately within smelling distance, food festival. Just a constant food festival. The one rule is you have to come and pick up your own food.
I think my method gets results faster, saying with no offense. I do like
it does,
yours.
but I find mine far more amusing to me.
You can have that food cook off and whatnot right outside the cell block when they're waiting processing and they're bleeding.
Yeah, I want them. See, the beautiful thing about the cookout idea is you have it just within smelling distance. You don't give them any food. You have if you get up and you come over here, they're glued to this shit. Don't give them any fucking acetone. Don't give them any solvent. If they want that fucking food, they can rip themselves off that goddamn street.
I vote for waterboarding people, but hey.
Sorry.
I just thought of something.
I was
What if
scrolling
someone
Twitter.
glued themselves to a fucking street in a depression right before a rainstorm?
Play Super Games, win super prizes, sir.
They're dumb enough to do that shit.
No, I mean, Sanguine, remember how last night I told you that, you know, Twitter is dying and whatnot? Rip Twitter, yada yada was trending.
Yep.
Guess what's still working?
Twitter. Mm-hmm.
And somebody posted, says, since no one's monitoring Twitter, I'm currently making meth. And it's got a picture of them with like you know, bags of money and, you know, a hot plate
Nice.
and a jar of some green substance.
Ooh.
That would be funny if Twitter did manage to revert back to that, to get that kind of state. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, what I would find hilarious is if
there's that one
started
classic
doing
tweet about a
that.
dude talking about how he used to teach people how to make how to cook crack in a microwave on
Mhm.
Twitter.
Oh, people don't realize Twitter is still moderated. It's just he's got rid of all the fat. I mean, what Elon says is not true. Twitter is not truly free speech. He's just more
I
open.
honestly didn't believe he was actually going to buy it until it finally went through. Like I thought it was all just a big, you know, troll.
What he's currently saying is that he's just purchased it. There's rules on the books. the rules will be enforced. And he has said that there is the intention to go through and trim all that, but currently he's dealing with trimming the employees. So the going through and revising the terms of service is something that I've heard he's intending on doing. It's just he's more worried about having 10 managers per every coder.
Yes. That was ridiculous. That statistic team. I was like, you should have a marketing team, but your marketing team and your management team should not be larger than your staff. That's not how business work. That's why Twitter was losing $10 million a day. A fucking day. That's a ridiculous amount of loss.
Makes you wonder how they stayed in business as long as they did before Elon bought it.
Investors. They just kept dumping money into it. That's usually how companies work. It's like if they don't, usually a lot of companies don't make money in the first couple of years. They exist, or first couple of decades really. But investors keep dumping money into it, hoping one day it will profit. Which
you have
Twitter never had.
You have investors that put in capital. You have a bunch of benchmarks that you say you're going to hit. So that will be things like, in the case of a social media company, X number of accounts within this time frame. And as long as there's that many people within that time frame, they're then able to go to their investors and said, we met our benchmark. Would you like to invest more? And if they have a history of meeting their benchmarks, then investors are more and more likely to put more money in, because that's a good sign that they're improving their system, that they're growing, that they are potentially on the path to actually earn. The thing is that so many fucking places then have managerial bloat.
Yes.
And that just kills the business.
And to what Scotsman said, the guy who he's saying got the $40-something million. I think he's trying to talk. He's talking about Pragro, or whatever his name is, the current CEO, well, the former CEO now. But no, he got terminated with cause by Elon for lying during the acquisition. So he's trying to basically what you call that, not pay them that whatever $42 million that Scotty is actually referencing, because basically if you are the one who screwed the company doing the sale and everything, you don't get to your severance. So
yeah,
that's just the way it is.
A bunch of employees that have been fired that are trying to say that they were fired without reason, when the vast majority of them probably weren't. There might be a handful that were improperly fired. I'm willing to bet the vast majority of them were fired with cause. That was stated in their firing, and they just disagree with the cause. It's like last year, we talked about this last night as well. We had the one company that fired over like 900 something employees on a Zoom call. And people were pissed off that, oh my God, this CEO fired over 900 people over a Zoom call a few weeks before Christmas. Look how fucked up this is. He didn't give them any warning. He didn't give them any reason for their firing. And then you actually look into the story, and he fired over 900 something employees that were all part of the EEO, the Equity Inclusion Office, as well as a shit ton of the HR department, because over the previous year, he had done an audit of all the employees' timesheets. And he had looked at the work that they actually did, and then what they reported that they did, and all their documents were time-stamped every time that they were opened, closed, and anything was changed on them. So he looked at all that data, and he realized that, yeah, all the EEO officers that got fired and all the HR people that got fired, they were putting in for 8 to 10 hour days. They were working maybe 2 hours on average.
Yeah.
They were committing timesheet fraud.
What you call that? With Elon, he was just, he didn't like all the bloat that was there, because like there was a lot of overlapping shit that was costing the company a lot of money, and then paying for the food. Jesus Christ, he was like spending like, was it $10 million a year or something like that on food, like for the employees. I'm like, that's a shitload of money, to feed a bunch of lazy fucks, So he got rid of them, and all these fuckers are like, moaning, complaining that he did that. I'm like, well, what would you do?
And like I said, I'm willing to bet that when it all comes out, there was probably some assessment very similar to the incident last year of how much work have they actually done, how much work did they say that they did. If there's a discrepancy in that, they're committing timesheet fraud. So they can be fired for that. Just like if you steal from the till when working cash register, you can be fired for that. And you aren't entitled to any severance package for stealing and then being fired for being found out. You don't get any severance package when it turns out that you were committing timesheet fraud. Because, again, you were stealing from the company. But like I said, it's something that will end up coming out, especially since there's a lot of lawyers that have taken up those cases.
Yeah, but the thing is, they have no case, but because everybody that Elon has fired or let go, he's given them 3 months severance, right?
I mean, except for Ligma and Johnson. I think those guys got screwed.
That
was
beautiful.
Oh, you're talking about that, yeah. Either way, right? In the state of California, when you fire somebody, you have to give them 3 months notice. Guess what? That's a month of pay. So these people don't have any like leg to stand on when it comes to that. So good luck trying to get more money out of Elon. He's already giving you 3 months of pay for free. So you're gonna fuck off, So
yeah, there's people that are going to try to put forward cases on it. We'll find out more information as those cases come through. A good chunk of them will probably be tossed out if there's a sensible judge. The problem is it's California. Sensible judges are in short supply. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he moves a good chunk of Twitter to Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's a given. No, there's no point in him staying in California because, well, most of his employees are gone from California. What's the point of being there, right? And he can merge his SpaceX
campus
programmers with his Twitter programmers, and yeah, we have them all on one roof. And they're the important ones, not the fucking marketing team and all bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the number of people that were saying Twitter's over, and there were a bunch of people saying, well, he fired a bunch of the programmers, and I'm going, okay, let's look at how many he actually fired.
Yeah, he
It
didn't
looks
fire.
like there's a device that was disconnected, Adam, so you need to resolve that before I can click you back in.
I guarantee you he didn't fire hardly any programmers, maybe a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people that got fired were the marketing team or the sales team. There's too many of those fuckers.
And I'm always gobsmacked by how much certain companies will bend over backwards. Like, I was baffled by how quickly YouTube folded since when the adpocalypse happened. I think what should have been done by YouTube, from my lay perspective, so take it with a grain of salt, is the companies that said that they wanted to pull out of the advertising, okay, you can pull out of the advertising. Every company that stayed with YouTube, give them a 10% shave off the cost per ad. Any company that was new as an advertiser or advertising client with YouTube, give them a 5% discount. Anyone that returns that was one of the companies that said that they didn't want to advertise with YouTube anymore, okay, 20% markup. Make it so that it's very clear early on that if you try to strong arm us with our advertising, you will fuck yourself. Everyone else, your competition, they'll benefit from you fucking yourself. So you want to pull out of the biggest advertising venue? Go ahead. I'm not going to keep you. Everyone else, here's a discount. Because it's kind of like they ended up doing the same thing that causes restaurants to go under. I know Cryptic probably knows what I'm talking about. Do you guys know one of the major fuck-ups that restaurants have when it comes to when they start to struggle a little bit?
What's that?
Camel, do you happen to know?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
What is the major fuck-up that most restaurants make when their earnings dip slightly?
Increasing prices.
Yes.
Oh, we lost Cryptic.
Uh-oh.
He will return most likely. But increasing prices, exactly Cannibalistic had it as well. What happens is that restaurants will increase prices, trying to make up the shortfall. This is counterproductive. Because what happens is that if you increase prices, then you get fewer people coming in. So they increase prices again. And they get fewer. And they increase. And they get fewer. And they increase. And they get fewer. Nice. Cannibalistic said that you saw a cat outside and you had to quickly go catch your dinner. But yeah, it's something that happens constantly in the restaurant world where people will panic that they had a dip in earnings and they'll increase prices. Whereas almost counterintuitively, if you have a dip in your earnings when it comes to that, the best thing that you can do is slightly decrease the price. Especially if you're able to decrease the price and hold the quality constant, decrease the price. Because then you'll get more people coming in and you start doing the economy of scale. there was this joint my grandparents and I liked, and when they started fair prices and a large amount, they gave a good amount, but prices almost doubled. Yeah, it's one of the problems that they have constantly, where restaurants will increase prices when they end up having a dip in profit, and it fucks them. There's certain businesses that unfortunately have managed to do the end around this, but it's in things that are vital. Because when you have a captive clientele, yeah, you can pay whatever the fuck you... Well, you can request whatever the fuck you want because they have to pay it. This is the problem with healthcare. And the main thing with healthcare is the two biggest expenses when it comes to healthcare are the insurance with healthcare. And by the insurance, I don't mean your insurance. I mean, when you go to hospital, the doctor has malpractice insurance, the nurse has malpractice insurance, the hospital has malpractice insurance, the pharmacist that prepares your drugs at the hospital has malpractice insurance, the pharmacy has malpractice insurance. Then the hospital system, if you're going to a hospital that's part of a hospital system, the hospital system as a whole also has coverage. Then also, every person that works in that facility, the techs have to have coverage, the janitorial staff has to have coverage, everyone that is even within sight of a patient has to have coverage. Because if anything goes wrong, they're all liable to get sued. So that is a massive part of the bill when it comes to medical costs. Then the other thing is there's a bunch of people that aren't able to pay, so what happens is the price gets increased for those who can pay, which means that fewer people are able to pay, which means that the price gets increased for those who can pay, which means that fewer people are able to pay, which means that price gets increased for those who can pay, and we just have runaway prices.
It's never ending cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a positive feedback loop. And it is a positive feedback loop that is destructive.
Speaking of destructive, do you guys remember the story about that OnlyFans model that killed her boyfriend earlier this year?
I did not.
What's her name?
Dude, tell the tale.
Courtney Clinny, 26, is OnlyFans model and Instagram model, accused of killing her boyfriend Christian Obumsele in their condo in Florida in April. She's a judge is deciding whether or not to grant her bail.
Mm.
And I think when they said that was coming up, I mean it's one of the it's the Channel 8 News here in Oklahoma. They tweeted out a story about it, which they've got some photos of this chick, and this must be like right after she was arrested. Because I don't understand.
Rough.
Well, yeah, like I mean, it reinforces my belief that makeup is witchcraft because I don't understand how this chick pulled in almost $1 million in 2020 and almost $2 million last year. I mean, must be some hellacious like makeup, camera angles, filters, lighting. Because she's a 6 at best.
Have you seen some of the makeup, like some videos of women with and without makeup on? That is some fucking scary shit.
The Asian ones are always the most insane.
We need to bring back the rain barrel test, gentlemen. That's my suggestion.
Oh,
first date swimming pool.
Yeah,
I don't date women that wear makeup. I just don't.
Well, no, I mean like culturally, not necessarily us individually, but like that should be a cultural norm. It's like, oh, first date, Let's dunk your head in this rain barrel right fast. See how you look afterwards. Decide whether or not we're actually going to go on the date.
Let's go to the water park first. It's a fun, active date. We can do things rather than just having to talk. Helps get through the awkwardness. Really, it's just to make sure that you aren't.
Well, no,
Just
they've got waterproof makeup these days. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, I know that cancels out the rain barrel test necessarily, but still, like, I just think you should be able to dunk a bitch's head in a bucket on your first date. No consequences.
But if they're using waterproof makeup, then
I just
your
said
rain barrel test.
I said yes. They have waterproof makeup, which makes the rain barrel test obsolete.
Yep.
But I really just think you should be able to dunk a bitch's head in a bucket on your first date with no consequences. So I still stand by it.
God damn it, cannibalistic.
Well, see, that comes after she passes the rain barrel test, cannibalistic. That's step 2 in the process.
So you do the rain barrel, then you do the golf bowl and garden hose test.
All on the
And
first
then you move
date,
on
too.
from there.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a first date.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to do the crotch and the, whole test, I call it. You gotta make sure it's not so loose that you can shove a watermelon in there.
See,
Ooh.
the thing that when you said that first popped into my head immediately, and I know all you dirty fucks have seen this clip.
Anything more than a ping pong ball is too much cryptic.
No.
You guys have all seen the GIF that went around Twitter ages ago of the woman in like the jackhammer position.
Okay.
And then the dude dumps a box of cereal and pours milk into her and starts eating it.
What?
Don't even fucking lie.
What? Hold on. What?
Okay, I may not have seen this on Twitter, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Hold on.
Brunette lady?
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Did they surpass?
rack?
Did they surpass 2 girls, 1 cup, and they made one girl cereal bowl, or possibly
Sanguine,
soup?
I
depending
actually
on
I know
what you're
who the woman is,
What the
and I'm pretty
fuck?
sure I know where that comes from. Actually, that very well could be, and you can double check this, see if I'm right. Very well could be. It was a porn star by the name of Angelica Sin in a Naughty America video. I think it was one of the like sex teacher videos. Now, was it like in the pussy or in the ass?
I'm trying to remember because I think there's been one of each.
Why
'Cause
not
the
both?
one I'm thinking of was like Cheerios in an asshole.
I'm remembering Fruit Loops and a pussy.
Okay, we may
Fruit
have
Loops in the pussy and
may have
Cheerios
two
in the
different
asshole.
two different cases of degeneracy here. Then
Yep. But the point remains.
Oh, it's the Nintendo cereal. You got the Mario in the pussy and the fucking Zelda in the asshole. There you go. Fucking shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it. But yeah, no, yeah.
I seen a man shove his head up a woman's vagina back in the day.
So
yes,
recently,
the original pussy hat.
recently
yes.
there was a video of a woman shoving her whole foot in another woman's butt. So
I mean,
You know, honestly, I just imagine, like, have you ever seen those little it was like a little box cereal that you can open up on one side, and then it had the little plastic bit in the inside. You open that up, and then you could pour some milk in it, and you can eat the cereal box. Like, that's what I imagined what you just said on a female, nonetheless. Wow. Wonderful. Minions of the Zoo. Here we are.
No. Here we are talking about ass and foot. Instead of ass to mouth, is foot to
I
ass.
didn't do it. You guys learned from you.
That you fucking did. Like I said, that clip went around, and there were two clips because the one that Camel mentioned, I also now remember.
Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure that scene was shot before Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised I haven't seen more videos of cereal and assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm not
Well,
saying I want to see more. I'm just saying I'm surprised I haven't seen more.
I'm surprised you have seen those.
The only other one that I remember seeing that's related to that, the woman starts laughing and it rockets out.
Oh.
Oh man, that's
It's based on laughter.
Just like, the cheap squirt guns that you could get as a child that was just a tube and a plunger?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that.
Candace, I don't know about what you watch, but damn,
What are you watching?
that's some nasty shit you saying in there.
These are just fucking gifs that I've seen on Twitter.
I have seen the guy fuck the snake one, yeah. Or well,
But what
other way
the
around.
fuck? Okay. You guys
All
stop.
right.
And Trendemir, all I have to say when it comes to the first one that you mentioned is it isn't the woman, but too deep.
Mr. Hands, yeah.
Good lord.
That man's last fucking words.
So
The
how
last
about,
recorded words.
Yeah.
so how about the Mets?
Are they playing?
No, it's winter. They suck.
Holy shit.
Like it's November. Like baseball is not on the menu anymore, correct?
No, yeah. Winter baseball.
Okay, well this isn't South America, Adam. We don't care about winter baseball.
Whoa, hey. Brazil loves their baseball.
And none of us are in Brazil currently.
I'm in Brazil.
You see what I'm digging at here?
I live in Brazil.
I mean, just because Chicago is practically one giant favela does not mean you live in
God
Brazil. That's not how geography works, Adam.
Oh, you caught me.
God damn it. The degeneracy in our chat right now.
What? Don't we have a bot?
I have not seen a chick do the ping pong trick with a grapefruit. I did see the one chick who was using a grapefruit to show you how to like give head.
Hold
God,
on.
that sounded just it sticks in your head. It just bounces around.
Are you talking about the grapefruit trick?
Hold on.
Yeah,
This is the first time I've seen our chat with Neri blue check mark or blue wrench.
Oh, yeah. I think the blue
There you
wrenches gave up the moment that I started
They've
talking
taken
about
over.
that one clip. They were just like, God damn it. Okay, this is... Fuck it, it's on you now.
Well, like Uzi went to bed. I don't know about Addy. He may be just cool with listening to us talk about different fucked up videos on the internet. I'm fairly certain he wouldn't take offense.
He got excited at the mention of horse cock, immediately went to Bad Dragon.
There's no cock like a horse. I don't fucking know that song, but I know.
I
you have
learned
a
that
whole
song
song
from
for it?
Sinatra.
I know that song, and I know the band that plays it, and I've heard them perform it live.
I literally would not have heard that song if it weren't for Sinatra. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that song because of I use that to annoy which call that Viper Sword. So
Mhm.
Yeah, hadn't heard it in a while, actually, now that I think about it. But no,
Just
I
put
used
it
to
on the
use it
back
to annoy
burner a little bit
use it
because
to annoy the girlfriend.
it was being played quite often, and then it started trailing off. So he decided to pull it back so that it stays a bit special when he brings it back out.
Oh, Elon asked, "What should Twitter do next?"
destroy everything.
Well, like somebody said, like bring back Alex Jones. He just said no.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, that got like 33,000 likes and 2,000 retweets.
He should absolutely bring back Alex Jones. Bring back most of the people that were politically banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's
Bring 'em
he's
back,
he's
bring 'em
trying to
back,
straddle.
bring 'em
He's trying to straddle and satisfy like the people on the left also, which is not going to end very well for him because you give them an inch, they'll take a 500 miles.
Give them an inch and they'll take too deep.
Whoa.
I
That's too
mean,
deep.
I'm not fucking wrong.
No, you're not. But it's just, it's kind of sad actually. That's actually a true statement.
I guess what I would want, like, even though it would probably like cut my followers numbers in half, is get rid of all the bots.
Yep.
Also, like, you should have an option in your settings as to whether or not you want to see promoted tweets.
Yep.
Because, like, it's bad enough seeing them when I'm scrolling my timeline. Like, if I accidentally, like, put too much pressure on my phone screen, it ends up clicking on one of those things. I don't want to, I don't want to see that shit. But now it's gotten so bad, like, they're putting promoted tweets in replies. Like, you click on somebody's tweet and, like, you scroll, and, like, one of the first things you're going to see is a promoted fucking thing that has nothing to do with the thread. And now I'm getting more message requests with the, like, 50 some odd people tagged in it. I never even bother to see what they're trying to sell me, whether it be nudes or some other scam. But yeah, get rid of that shit.
Oh, the number of people that are on Twitter doing the fattening the pig scam. Are you guys familiar with that one?
The what?
Pig
Fattening the pig
What?
scam.
No. Like, I'm still dealing with, like, Nigerian princes and shit. I have no idea what this one is.
So fattening the pig is... Wait, Cryptic, have you heard of this one yet?
I know that. I know the term, but I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since I heard it. Yeah.
So fattening the pig is the English translation of the Chinese name for the scam. It is a crypto scam that has the same form. So there's 3 different starts to it, but then they all unify in the rest of it. So one version is someone texts you out of the blue, a number that you don't know, saying that they're trying to reach some person that is definitely not you.
Oh yes, I remember
And
this now.
When you say, nope, sorry, you have the wrong number, which is the standard reply for a text message like that, they then start chatting with you and saying things like, well, I believe that everything happens for a reason, so perhaps there's a reason that I ended up texting your number. Let's get to know each other. And then they start trying to befriend you. They always use pictures of rather attractive Asian women. Originally, in the first form of the scam, they were almost entirely from Chongqing, which, do any of you know the importance of Chongqing?
Uh,
Is
can't
that
say
anywhere near
I
Ding
do.
Dang?
God damn it, Count. Cryptic, do you know the interesting note about Chongqing?
Negative, sir.
Chongqing is one of the major intelligence cities within China. It is a tech area, but it isn't a tech area like... damn it, why am I blanking on the
Silicon
major...
Valley.
Say again?
Silicon Valley.
I'm trying to think of the Chinese one.
Oh, Chinese one. Guangdong or Sichuan. Ah, fuck with it.
It's...
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's the one that is right across the strait from Macau. And I'm
Henan?
trying to... Say again?
No. Across from Macau.
I want to say it's right across the strait from Macau. Let me just quickly look it up.
Across the street from Macau is Hong Kong. I know it's not that city you're talking about.
So it is Shenzhen. That's the one.
Oh yes, that's their like technical capital.
Yeah. It's a tech city, but it's not like Shenzhen. Chongqing is, like I said, the intelligence city. So a lot of the intelligence ops and attempts to hack and gather information from the rest of the world originates from Chongqing. And there's one or two other cities that are also fairly well known for this. Chongqing is one of the major ones, though. So, the original version, pretty much all the girls were from Chongqing. And they would get to know you, and they would try to talk about whatever you said you were interested in. They would send pictures of themselves with air quotes around themselves. And they were always attractive Asian women. Before they would start talking about this new investment strategy that they've been into, and they've been earning a lot of money through this investment strategy. And they could teach you how to do this investment strategy. It's a new crypto thing. Very few people are into it yet, but it's the next big thing in investment.
Which is why nothing like that would ever work on me, because I'd hear them be like, yeah, sounds like a great way to lose a lot of money doing something that nobody knows how to fucking do.
It's
I'm out.
Ultra short investments that all your money stays liquid throughout the entire process because you're just buying and selling on very short time scales of up to like 30 seconds to a minute is the longest that your money's in.
That's long enough to lose it, though.
Well, the thing is that they will always say that the best exchange to do this on is this particular exchange. And the particular exchange is constantly changing. It is always an exchange that is named after a legit cryptocurrency. So Ycoin, when that came to be a thing, and it was viewed as a legit cryptocurrency, they would start doing Ycoin exchange, and it was something along those lines. And then when I think it was Qcoin became a thing, it was Qcoin exchange, or again, something along those lines. The thing is that while it was claiming the name of that legitimate cryptocurrency, it was a complete scam. Money could go in, it would show that you profited, and that would encourage you to put more money in so that you could get bigger profits. And the moment that you put money in, you could never pull money out. Didn't matter how early you tried to pull money out. Didn't matter when you tried to pull money out. You couldn't pull money out. So, this was a big scam, and then it became too well known. It mainly targeted the West with this. And when it became too well known, they started to expand it. So it went from all the girls were claiming that they were from Chongqing, or the majority of them were claiming that they were from Chongqing, to they were claiming that they were from other parts of Southeast Asia. To they would claim that they were other parts of Asia in general. So now there's people that claim that they're in Japan, and they'll message you in Japanese and then say that they can switch to English and switch to English. And the interesting thing is that if you bring up the fattening the pig, a large chunk of them will immediately switch to simplified Chinese characters. Which I know Cryptic probably knows this. Camel, Adam, do you happen to know the area where simplified Chinese characters are used?
I'm guessing it's somewhere near Ding Dang or wherever you said that place was.
Simplified Chinese characters only used in the communist-controlled areas of China.
Mainland China, Taiwan.
Damn it! Hold on. I wanted to use my. Damn it, man! I'm a Native American. I'm not a fucking Asian.
Nice.
I'm gonna use that card that
But-
me and Camel could have used, but whatever, man. Go ahead and.
Simplified characters are only used within the CCP controlled areas.
So most of it.
Yes.
Other than Taiwan and a handful of other areas that use Chinese, which they'll use traditional Chinese, which is much more complex than simplified. Simplified was a creation of MotZ.
The Cantonese is traditional. If you actually go to southern China,
Yep.
Hong Kong, it's the traditional Chinese, but there's been a big
That's changing now with
Wait.
aggressive reacquisition.
Did you say Cantonese? Cantonese is the language that's closely used to the ancient language.
So
Yes.
when you're looking at what you just said is slightly difficult. So their written form is the traditional Chinese script, because traditional Chinese script was established by the first Qin emperor, if I remember correctly. And he insisted that all of China use Chinese script. So it doesn't matter if the person speaks Cantonese, whether they speak Mandarin, whether they speak, let's see, it's Zhang, trying to remember a bunch of other different, there's 46 different nationalities within China, at least 46 different nationalities within China. Each of them has at least one language. Han Chinese is the majority group within China, or rather, they are the plurality group within China, because I don't think they have a simple majority. I think they just have a plurality. And the primary Han language is Mandarin. But then you have other languages, like you have Cantonese, which Cantonese is the language of the cantons. The cantons were the various islands off the coast of China, predominantly. They also expanded into mainland at a certain point, but that would be Hong Kong. Cantonese was also widely spoken in Macau and also Taiwan originally, though Taiwan is now a blend of Mandarin and Cantonese, since a good chunk of the nationalists spoke Mandarin. But the natives of Taiwan, of that canton, because Taiwan was a canton, spoke Cantonese. So now I think they have Cantonese and Mandarin as the dual language. That's right. Right, Cryptic?
Yeah, but still the national language of Taiwan is still Mandarin. the
Yep.
traditional.
Well, the written script is traditional.
Yeah.
So written script, like I said, the traditional written script was established by the first Qin emperor. So all of China throughout the overwhelming majority of Chinese history used traditional characters.
Yes.
Then when Mao Zedong took over, he wanted to purge China of the non-communist elements. And one of the things that he did fairly early on was he revolutionized Chinese writing. And he came up with a simplified script, which is similar to traditional, but where a traditional character could have up to, I think the greatest number of strokes is 80-something strokes for a traditional character. Is that about right, Cryptic? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't remember the exact amount, but yeah, sounds about right.
But yeah, it's a ridiculous number of strokes. Traditional characters top out at about 30-something strokes.
Yeah, that's why a lot of like Chinese and Vietnamese people were very illiterate. Just because the script was so hard. That's why when the French like occupied Vietnam for those 50 years, they made the Roman alphabet as a replacement for the script, and then illiteracy in Vietnam went up the roof because it's easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mao did the same thing with Cantonese, basically.
Well, with
it's
traditional versus simplified.
Yeah, sorry, traditional to simplify it, yeah, so that they can.
Because that's the interesting thing about China. China has one written language.
Right.
China has over, I think it's 60 spoken languages. But again, they have one written language.
They have over, according to like what I've read so far, it's like they have over 100.
Oh, damn. Okay, yeah.
They have over 100 something dialect and unique.
Oh yeah, if you're including dialect, then it skyrockets because technically there are things that are considered dialects that really should be considered their own language, but they aren't. A really good example of that is, you've heard of Shanghainese, right, Cryptic?
Yes.
So, for those who don't know what Shanghainese is, you have Mandarin, which is the most common language within China. It has a plurality of the people speak Mandarin, and it's the official language of China. So, the way that you say I in Mandarin is wo. And then you have Shanghainese, which is technically a form of Mandarin. But you wouldn't be able to tell that Shanghainese is technically Mandarin by hearing Shanghainese, because it sounds nothing like Mandarin. Right down to, if I remember correctly, the Shanghainese for I is Liang, which is particularly confusing because Liang in Mandarin means two of something. So in Mandarin, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So R is 2, as in counting 2. But then when you're saying, like, let's see, what would be a good example? Langaren, you have 2 people. So you have Liang, which means 2 of something. You have Ga, which is a counting word. And then you have Ren, which is people. But
isn't Leon lion in Spanish?
Lion is lion, I think. Whereas Liang with a Liang.
Oh, with the G at the end.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Is two of something in Mandarin if you put the right tone on it. And if I remember correctly, Cryptic won't be able to correct me on this. It is Liang rather than
we're still talking about the
Liang or
Asian
Liang
language.
or Liang. I think it's just Liang. So it's first tone, and it isn't just so Liang versus Liang. There's Liang is first tone, Liang is fifth tone, which is the empty tone. It's sometimes counted as a tone, sometimes not counted as a tone. Tonal Chinese, very confusing unless you can actually pick up the tonal shifts. If you can't pick up the tonal shifts, you will never be able to learn Mandarin.
Yeah.
Because for Mandarin, you have 4 proper tones, technically 5 tones if you count empty tone. So a good example of that is you have ma, 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 ma.
The funny thing is, Sanguine does the same thing.
Lois.
Oh, say that again?
Same thing in Vietnamese, actually. This is a good example. It's like in Vietnamese, you say ma, 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 ma.
Yep. And
same
then
thing.
the fifth tone, because I said 4 of the ma's, is just ma.
Yeah.
And in Mandarin, when you're talking about the 5 different words that I have said, one of them means mother.
Yes.
One of them means horse. One of them means it's just turning a sentence into a question. It's effectively a spoken question mark, which kind of takes the place of the upspeak that you have in English where you're a student. Your student is a statement. Your student is a question. And go ahead, Cryptic.
In Vietnamese, those 5 things you said,
Mm-hmm.
one means ghost, one means
Nice.
mother, one means cheek. The other one means what's it? Ma,
You're summoning cats out there.
Oh, you can hear my cat, huh?
No, that would be Mao.
Yeah. So I need he's moaning. Give me a sec. But yeah, it's the same either way. Same in Vietnamese. Vietnamese is a tonal language, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very close to Cantonese and Mandarin. That's where we got a lot of our words from. And yeah, shut up, Loki. He's still bitching. But in terms of the language, it's very similar. Like so that if you learn one tonal language, you can probably pick up on the other ones.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the 5 ma's that I said. When I went ma, that means mother. So mama is mother. When I did the rising tone, so ma, that's hemp. When I did the falling rising, ma, that's horse. And when I did the falling tone, ma, that's scold. So if you use the wrong tone when you're saying ma, you could be referring to your mother-in-law and instead refer to your horse-in-law. Or your hemp-in-law.
Or in Vietnamese, you can consider, you can call somebody a ghost. Oops.
Yep.
Yeah. Call your
Trying
mama.
to refer to your mother-in-law, your ghost-in-law.
Yeah.
Bit of wishful thinking there.
No, well, there's a lot of words in like Mandarin, Cantonese, and Vietnamese. Like if you get the wrong pitch,
Mhm.
or you're using the wrong part of a sentence, you can totally change the meaning of the whole conversation. And if you're not careful, you can just insult somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the wrong
Probably-
pitch could not hold the side of the wall together properly. I'm sorry.
Probably one of the best examples of that is when I was first learning some Mandarin. I've never been fluent in Mandarin, but I got conversational at best. And I heard someone put the wrong tone on the Mandarin for pencil.
Oh.
So he leaned over, it was a college student who leaned over to the Chinese girl next to him and asked if he could borrow her pencil because he had forgotten his. The Chinese girl immediately turns beet fucking red.
Wait, beat red from what?
Because he had used the wrong tone on pencil. I can't remember which tone he ended up shifting, but the pinyin for pencil is Q-I-A first tone, N-B-I third tone. So it's Chen B is the way that you say it.
Oh.
If you put the wrong tone on Chen B, then instead of saying pencil, you say pussy. So he had leaned over to this Chinese girl
Pass me that pussy, sweetheart.
No.
and said, "Can I borrow your pussy for a moment?" So she turned beet red due to that, kind of giggled, and then politely replied, "I think you used the wrong tone." Because I think it was B. So technically, Chen B is lead pencil, sometimes just translated as pencil. If I remember correctly, it's B is pencil or writing brush. It's generic writing object. But if you put the wrong tone on that, it's pussy. So what he ended up asking for was her lead pussy.
I mean, fair request.
I said what I said.
Yeah. So she turns bright red and says that she thinks that he said the wrong word. He's confused and he says, "No, I'm asking to borrow your pencil." Again in Chinese, or in Mandarin. And he again puts the wrong tone on it. And then she replies, "B, pencil," or I can't remember which of the four tones it is, but she says the four tone and then just kind of looks down at her crotch. And now the college student has completely flushed. As he goes, B, 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 B. Just trying to get that into his mind so that he doesn't accidentally say the wrong tone on it anymore. And yes, Tyrannus, I know what I said. I want to borrow your pussy. That would have been a rather convincing way of responding to that. And I know Cryptic also read that out loud, but
Yes,
shit.
I did, and yes,
it is just fantastic that you have those words so close together, and it's a really good example of be very careful with the tone that you put on something.
That's one of the reasons why when people ask me to teach them like Vietnamese, I'm like, I don't think you want to do that, because if I teach you something and you say it in a wrong tone or wrong freaking part of a sentence, you're gonna embarrass yourself quite badly. Well, I can learn. It's like I can barely do it myself, and I was born into it. And sometimes my mother, she's like, it's like, can you go buy some lemon? And then lemon and feet is sound almost the same, right?
Mhm.
Based on the tone. And I was like, I know what she means, but I was like, you want me to go buy feet? Where am I going to buy feet at?
Nice.
So it's like, yeah. Even I have, be careful how I use my tones,
So got an update on Twitter.
Oh,
CBS News and local CBS owned stations have suspended their use of Twitter.
Good.
They will no longer be posting updates on Twitter.
Hey, that decreases the amount of fake news on Twitter. That's good.
Yes.
So,
well, if they do that, right, they lose their reach, and right now they can't afford to, what you call that?
which is also good.
Well, hold on. Let me see. CBS News. I wonder how many followers they have, what kind of engagement they get.
And while you're quickly checking that, just to explain what I pulled up on screen, it's examples of traditional characters versus simplified. So traditional is the left-hand column, simplified is the right-hand column. You can see how much easier it is to write simplified, but simplified is entirely a creation of MotZ, which is why the non-communist controlled areas never went to simplified. They stuck with traditional.
Oh,
and
so
all old Chinese text is in
what
traditional.
the fuck?
So CBS
Sorry.
News, their Twitter account has 8.8 million followers.
Was the average like?
The last thing they retweeted was 9 hours ago. Posted 9 hours ago from Scott McFarlane. He's one of their congressional correspondents.
Mm-hmm.
361 likes, 91 retweets, 58
Nobody
comments. Here's one directly from CBS News, also 9 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
77 likes, 29 retweets, 41 comments. They retweeted the CBS Sunday Morning Show. 32 likes, 4 retweets, 6 comments. Like, those are numbers I can get easily. That's ridiculous. They have 8.8 million followers.
How many of them are bots? That's the question. That's why
a good chunk, which is why I would be fine losing half of my followers because they're bots. If I could know like the people that are actually liking my shit were real people and not,
Can you just imagine the absolute bloodbath a bot purge would be of Blue Anon, though?
It'd be worth it. You're selling me even more, Sanguine. Come on.
I know. It absolutely would be. I'm just saying. Can you imagine the absolute fucking bloodbath of that? Because that would be goddamn glorious.
So you guys know about FTX, right?
Yes,
you're aware of the situation unfolding involving the people involved and whatnot.
Yes.
That's just to make sure that I'm thinking of the right initialism. That is the cryptocurrency scam that turns out that it was just another Act Blue money laundering approach, right?
Among other things.
Hey,
yes.
how crazy is it? And I really don't. It's there was that German phrase about something or other, but holy shit, it was like it looks like Ethan Klein, and he looks
Doppelgangers? Is that what you're looking
doppelgangers.
for?
No,
For like people who like look like other people?
well, no,
No,
you take
H3H3 production.
you take
Schadenfreude,
Schadenfreude. Yeah,
when
I
you
thought
take
that was
pleasure in the fall of another.
yeah,
Oh,
that was. Only because it was like because even okay, so it was when Elon Musk took over Twitter. I guess Ethan went on a tirade on there, and then he got banned.
no, he
And
didn't go on a
then
tirade. He impersonated
Yeah,
with
he
the check mark.
impersonated
oh yeah.
Elon and
he
got banned for that.
and the whole not parody thing.
Yep.
And then his wife went and hey, God bless you. She went to bed and she defended his
Uh,
her hubby,
uh,
but at the same time, it's like
are you talking about Gila getting banned? Because that wasn't
well,
Gila,
then
that was
she
Ethan.
she got banned.
No, well, yeah, because Ethan was on her account ban evading. He said point blank. It's like, this is what I'm doing.
Oh, so I have a question
Wait,
then.
he
Was
said
it Ela that was championing him, or was he championing himself on her account?
Because
He was
yeah, I
himself
thought
on her account.
yeah,
Oh, that
I
is
wouldn't be
fucking
surprised.
he
gold.
said in
that.
black and white that he was ban evading. That's why they banned that account.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that relates back to what we were talking about earlier. Of Musk said that the first thing that he's going to do when it comes to this is there's the TOS for Twitter. He's going to make sure that it is applied equally as he cleans up Twitter, and then he'll look into changing the TOS, which it was already in the TOS before Musk that if you're a parody account, you have to state that you're a parody account in your description as well as in your title, which
bio and username.
Yep, which was something that Twitter, prior to Musk's ascendancy as the Twitter CEO, or rather Twitter major stockholder, was rather shaky with, because they put in that policy in order to ban the Babylon Bee. Because the Babylon Bee stated that it was parody in its description, but it did not state parody in the name. So they initiated that in order to ban the Babylon Bee, and then they banned the Babylon Bee. Then they allowed people that were sufficiently on the left, shall we phrase it that way, to ignore that policy. And the result of that was people on the left were able to parody people on the right with impunity. People on the right had to state that they were parodying people on the left, not only in their bio, but in their name tag as well. So Musk, when he came in, he went, nope, this is the policy. Everyone is accountable to it. If you're parodying account, because it is in the policy currently, that you must state in your name as well as your bio, doesn't matter what side you're on, you must state in your name as well as your bio.
Well, this is completely off the rails from where I was going, but okay.
Well, let's
we got to start with
back to where
FTX.
you were going.
Were you guys aware that the one of the big salacious tidbits to come out of the whole FTX thing, aside from the obvious theft of money and whatnot,
Money laundering.
Sam Bankman-Fried, ex Caroline Elson made foray into Chinese harem polyamory.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a New York Post article. Polyamory, yeah. Chinese harem style polyamory.
I actually knew someone who is polygamist with his Chinese wives.
How many Chinese wives we talking here?
He had a Chinese wife in China, and he had a Chinese wife in America.
I mean, different continents. Does it even really count?
And his Chinese wives knew about each other, and they kind of went, well, at least he's with another Chinese person.
I mean, I was hoping, like, you know, we're talking Chinese harem polyamory. I was hoping, like, you know, like one for every day of the week, you know, like a fresh pair of socks.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't quite attractive enough to pull that many, but he was able to pull 2, which is still impressive given his looks. And given their looks in comparison to his looks.
I mean, you are aware of who I'm talking about, you know, in this article, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
that's
he at least has the excuse of being wealthy on paper, shall we say.
There's supposedly a recording too. Am I going to watch it if it comes out? I mean, if somebody's willing to pay me to sit through that, I'd consider it. But I don't know if I'm doing that of my own personal accord. No. These are rather unfortunate looking people, and I don't want to waste that kind of time. I'm in my mid-30s now, so like I'm getting closer to that midlife crisis, and I don't want to expedite that by watching the 21st century equivalent of The Ring.
Rather than having your tit standard fall as time goes on, your tit standard is rising.
I would hope that everyone gets more discerning as they age, Sanguine. That's
a lot of people don't.
That's the beauty of, you know, like experience. You know what you like, what you don't like, and it's easier to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people start going, old tits, good tits.
No. I've been to a few biker bars. There's definitely contradictions to that philosophy.
Yeah. When it looks like someone nailed a fried egg to a wall, that is not good tits. I think we can all agree on that, right?
I'm sorry, what? Cannibalistic was saying something in chat, had me distracted. I heard something about fried eggs nailed to a wall. Yeah, I don't want that.
I said when someone looks like they have fried eggs nailed to a wall, we can all agree that those are bad tits, right?
I mean, at present, yes. I mean, they may have been, you know, spectacular further down the timeline.
When they were younger, they might have been nice. They might have been perky. But the moment that they become fried eggs nailed to a wall, they aren't good tits anymore.
But yeah, Campbell says, I don't watch porn of people from my age group. I don't like them saggy titties hanging under grainy knees. I'm not that old.
And god damn it, Spittlebuggy is quoting, it's a Ron White gag, right? I think it's a Ron White joke. Where he's
like, titties, you want to see all the titties. Like, you know, even if some old, you know, he's like, all right, roll them back up.
Yep.
And then she rolls them up and like licks it like a cigarette, like an old West, you know, slinger.
Yeah, like I said, I could have sworn that was a Ron White. So I'm glad I remembered that correctly. Ron White, of course, is the best of the blue-collar comedy.
Yeah. Although, I mean, like, all those guys are actually pretty good. Like, even Larry the Cable Guy, like, he's doing a bit, and he's committed to it.
Yeah,
like I would like to see him do like stand-up comedy as just himself. What's his name? Dan something. I can't remember what his
That's
last name
kind
is.
of how I feel. Where
I want to see him. I want to see him do like an hour with like the mask off.
his commitment to the bit is admirable.
Oh, I
But
mean, and he does it very well too.
yeah, the bit just doesn't land for me.
I mean that is a risky run doing that kind of performance.
Yep.
You know, you're not gonna be able. Which is Dan Whitney, I think is his name.
Yep. Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy is the one that is the weakest to me. I'd say Ron White is the strongest. Foxworthy's second strongest because he has better consistency than Engvall, in my opinion. Engvall, I would say, has higher highs than a lot of Foxworthy, but he has lower lows, which means that he averages out slightly lower than Foxworthy.
But I will give Larry the Cable Guy credit for like he had one joke on that blue collar special.
Yeah, one of the blue collar specials, rather.
Well, no, I think the first one, the original.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
Yeah. He
I was just pointing out that there were a shit ton of them.
I only saw the first one, so
okay.
But he had one joke on there that had everyone in the room when we watched it stop and we missed the punchline because we were actually thinking about the setup. I was like, wait a second, he's right. Holy shit.
Nice.
But it was a joke about Tulsa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's Tulsa spelled backwards? A slut. What's slut backwards? $100.
Nice.
Well, like none of us had ever stopped to think about spelling Tulsa backwards.
Yep.
And so we're like, wait a second.
He's
right. Shit, he's
Son
right.
of a bitch.
And we missed the punchline. We had to click back on the DVD to figure out what the rest of the joke was.
Yeah, like I said, Ron White has the highest hit rate and the highest quality, which makes him the winner, in my opinion. Especially since he can give you fucking whiplash with his jokes, which that is an admirable quality in my book.
I used one of his lines going for my medical marijuana card.
Nice.
I think I may have told you this one before, Sanguine. Had to do an interview with a doctor for the process, and it's part of the reason why I didn't think medical marijuana would pass in Oklahoma was because I thought everyone knew, like me, that it was just a fig leaf. It's like we're gonna say it's medical, but I mean, really, come on.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what it turned into. But I thought more people would be hip to the to what would happen than were, because it passed. I was like, holy shit, it passed.
Mm-hmm.
So finally going to get a card after seeing other people, with their experiences. And sit down with the doc. He's like, so what brings you into, what do you feel you need medical marijuana? I said, well, doc, I get kind of bummed when I run out of weed.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, okay, so that's depression. I was like, holy shit, really? I was joking.
That's fucking Ron White, man. Exactly. Holy shit. It works.
Then he's like, do you have any problems sleeping? It's like, well, I mean, like, not sleeping, but I mean, it takes me a while to get to sleep. It's like, that's insomnia right there. Oh, holy shit, really? Yeah. Okay.
Just go in the entire Ron White bit. Holy shit.
Well, then I can't remember what he asked about that led him to just like, okay, so that's anxiety. It's like I walked out of there, it's like 3 different disorders. It's like
Yep.
I just, I mean, I just want to smoke some weed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it I actually have to decide if I want to renew that in April or not.
So I just realized something that I hadn't noticed before. Sapporo beer. It's a Japanese beer, right? Everyone knows about it, correct?
I mean, I just became aware of it.
Oh, you've never had Sapporo before? It's one of the major Japanese beers. along
I'm not
with
really a
Asahi and
drinker,
Kirin.
Sanguine, and
Sure.
I mean we've been talking for a while now. What makes you think I would have the money or the inclination to drink something imported?
Well, if you get Sapporo or Asahi, they're about the same price as a standard for a 6-pack.
I mean, I wasn't so bad off that I was drinking like Natty Light, but I was only just a couple rungs above that. So
Yeah, they're comparable with a lot of American beers. They aren't Natty Light cheap, which is what I was just about to bring up, but they aren't ridiculously expensive. A 6-pack of Sapporo or Asahi are each like $10,
I
which is
mean,
not much
Bud
more
Light was
than
like the fancy
American.
beer when I was growing up. That's
Look, past blue ribbon says a piece of my heart. Okay.
Nice. But do you know where Sapporo is apparently brewed?
no.
It's a Japanese beer named after a Japanese city. One would assume Japan. You'd be fucking wrong. Cryptic, your people
No.
are brewing.
No.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I actually, I know where it's brewed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brewed in Vietnam. I just noticed that and I went, son of a bitch. Really?
Yeah, because it's easier to brew there than it is in Japan.
Mhm.
Now. Yeah, I actually know that answer quite well because we used to drink a lot of Sapporo. I'm like, maybe in Vietnam. Wait, what?
Yeah. I've never really looked at the can. I just happened to pick up this one. I drink bottles most of the time. I have one of the cans because that's the only way that their reserve beer is sold in my area. And the reserve beer's rather fucking good. It's a all malt beer that is darker than standard Sapporo, but it is still that very golden lager color, which is rather lovely. And I've said it before, Asiatic beers are the only beers that I'll drink that are light in color. Because I don't know what fucking witchcraft they do. Their light colored beers actually taste like beer and they're properly flavored and balanced versus the piss water that you can find in America.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question. Do you know where Beck's is brewed?
I do not.
United States.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It's a German beer, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that from Beer Fest. Now we have like the fourth
Like
best
Yeah,
beer in Germany.
yeah, we're like,
Und Becks.
and it's actually still owned by a German company. It's just
Nice.
brewed here for some fucking
Nice. I do have one question for you because I'm not sure, but feeling the weight of this can, I have a guess. Cryptic, do you happen to know if Vietnam does the same shit China does with its beer cans?
Elaborate, please.
So in the States, cans for everyone that is in the States or most of the Western world, cans tend to be a aluminum tin
Right.
alloy, right?
Yep.
So you'll often see someone that's able to crush a beer can on their head. Do not do that shit in China. Because do you guys happen to know what the Chinese canned drinks are canned in?
Lead?
No.
Are you sure?
Steel.
Yeah, wait, what? Steel?
They're in steel cans because China has a ridiculous amount of iron and coke, but it has fairly minimum levels of aluminum and tin. So their cans are steel cans rather than aluminum or tin cans. Does Vietnam also use steel? Because this feels rather robust of a can.
They used to. I don't know what modern they do. Modern they do, but like back in the days they did. Yeah.
Spittlebuggy says that cans are heavier in Mexico too. Before that, they mentioned something about Corona bottles, and that took me back to I made the mistake of partying with Mexicans one time, like when I was fresh out of college, and my God, the amount of Corona.
That just
the beer, not the other thing.
Yep.
But and like, a contingent of them going leave. Like, I think I'd taken a couple of high school Spanish courses at that point. Woefully unprepared to try and talk to Mexicans in Mexican. Thankfully, like, somebody had a laptop, just Google Translate all night. But just sitting there, I'm drunk off my ass, and like, a few dudes go to leave. It's like, all right, so I guess party's winding down. Probably could. Like, oh no, they're coming back. Okay. Like, they came back with like Mexican takeout and more Corona. I was like, oh shit.
Nice.
Yeah. Just sitting there eating fajitas and then drinking more beer, listening to, I don't know, whatever kind of cartel's, particular music
Corona's
of choice was.
Good with a lime, but without the lime, it's kind of eh.
It was free, so I wasn't complaining.
Oh yeah, free is always the best.
Yeah, because those dudes fucking muy hospitable.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. I think I've told you guys the story of my free sake, right?
I don't recall.
So, I went to Japan when I was in college. I took a January term, a J-term course. That was a travel course to Japan. And there I am, a giant Tolkien fucking dwarf with this red beard, just massive fucking dude. And I get onto one of the Japanese train lines in Tokyo. So it's one of the ring train lines. Cryptic, have you ever been on one of the ring trains in Tokyo? Let's see if he's still there or if he's gone away entirely. I think he's gone away entirely for the moment being. So, Tokyo has a series of ring trains which take you, but think kind of like a above ground metro or subway system, where it takes you between all the different parts of Tokyo, because Tokyo is effectively like 12 cities merged into one, kind of like New York is with its boroughs. Similar structure to the megacity of Tokyo, where it has Akihabara and a shit ton of others. But it has this ring train going through the city. So I was getting onto one of those, and as I get on, there's a bunch of businessmen. Are you guys familiar with Japanese salarymen at all?
No.
Yeah, no.
So Japanese salarymen are known for two things: working very fucking hard and drinking like absolute goddamn fish whenever they're off the clock. So in other words, these are my people. And there's Cryptic back, so he'll be able to back me up on this. Cryptic, have you been on one of the ring trains in Tokyo?
I have not, actually.
So you haven't been on one of the ones between the different parts of Tokyo? But you're familiar with them, at least slightly, right?
Yeah.
And you're familiar with salarymen in Japan, right?
No, I'm not, actually.
Oh, you haven't been drinking with salarymen? I'm surprised. You've been to Nisakawa and you met the mama. But salarymen are the average Japanese businessman, so as I was telling everyone else, they are known for two things: working extremely hard and drinking like fish.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, so I was more in Okinawa most of my time in Japan, right? Yeah, I've seen those guys. You see these guys in business suits and whatever, right? They work, they look miserable. They go to fucking a bar, generally, get fucking blasted and go home, because and then they start the shit over and over again because literally they work 10 hours, 12 hours a day, and then they have nothing left during the day. They get pissed drunk, they go home, and they start the next day. Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I know them. I know them. I didn't know. I don't. I
you've
never
never
called
heard the salaryman term?
No. I just knew they were miserable human beings. So
Yeah. So I'm getting on one of the ring trains in Tokyo, going to another part of the city because I was exploring in one area and I was going back to my hotel, which was in another section. So I get on the train and there's a group of 4 salarymen, and my group of people had gotten on before me because I was, again, on a travel course. So a bunch of other college students, we all pile onto the train. I'm the last one onto the train. And apparently these salarymen who had a metal cup with them and a carton of sake had poured a small portion of sake into the cup and been offering it to every other one of the people in our group that had walked onto the train. They see me walk on, they fill that fucker to the brim and immediately hold it out to me. I didn't realize that they had filled it to the brim. I just saw that they were holding out a full cup to me. Didn't know that they had splashed in a little bit for everyone else. So I take the cup because I'm being offered free booze. I don't want to be rude. Fucking hospitality is a thing. Bread and water, sons of bitches. Bread and water. Sake's even better than water. So I'm offered free sake by the locals. I'm going to drink free sake from the locals. So I take the metal cup and I go to take a polite swig of it before going to pass it back because I didn't want to be the asshole that drains the cup. I don't speak a word of Japanese. They don't speak a word of fucking English. Their body language and cheering makes it clear that they don't want the cup back yet. They want me to drink it. So I just toss back the cup of sake, down it entirely, show them that the cup is empty. The salarymen that were on the train just erupt in cheers, fill up the cup again, and pass it back to me. So I end up, as we're going back to where I was staying for the night, just being passed this full cup of sake several times by the salarymen on this train because they wanted to drink with the giant dwarf. So it'd be, they'd pass me the full cup, I'd down it, then I'd pass it back to them. They'd splash a bit in, drink it. As they passed it between themselves, they'd fill the cup up again, pass it to me. And that was some of the best goddamn sake I had in Japan. Even though it was just a carton sake, and Cryptic, you've been to Japan, you know carton sake is the lowest fucking quality sake.
yeah, it's exactly like fucking box wine. It's
yeah. It is the cheap shit, but there's a flavor quality to free that makes it so much better.
You drink enough of that shit, you don't even notice what it is. You know, you once you're drunk, you're like, eh.
See, the thing is, I didn't get drunk from it. I just knew that it was free, and free tastes better.
Yeah, that's fair too.
The only time that I'll drink an American piss water like Bud or Natty or anything like that is when someone goes, "Hey, you want a beer?" And I go, "Sure," and they pass me one of those. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to refuse it. And the fact that it's free makes it taste decent. Even though it's absolute piss water every other time. It at least has some flavor when it's free.
Well, if I pass you a Pabst, you probably still think it's shit, but yeah, at least you'll drink it.
Like I said, free has a quality to it, and it always tastes better when it's free, even if it's absolute piss water. A good example of this, I think I told Adam about this. It was on the way to the camping trip. Crashed, car got fucking totaled. I get to the ferry despite that, and as I'm waiting for the ferry, a very kind woman who lives on Washington Island sees me walking up with my camping shit piled onto me, asks if I want her to toss the stuff into her car to make it easier to cross. I say that'd be very nice. And then after tossing my shit into her car, she asks, "Would you like a beer?" Fucking yeah. I just had a car crash. Why not have a beer? This sounds like a good end to the day. She passes me a Pabst Blue Ribbon. No, she passes me a Budweiser, so worse than a Pabst. Passes me a Budweiser.
What? Okay, yeah, well.
It's a
Alright.
Budweiser. It's worse than Pabst. But
I can agree with that.
I get past the Budweiser, and because it was free, it actually tasted decent. I've had Budweiser before. Budweiser's absolute piss water. Free has a flavor quality in and of itself. And free is always better, because even when it's an absolute piss water, even when it's absolute pee to the taste, as long as it's free, it tastes nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the free Budweiser that I had after crashing. And like I said, free always has a taste. And it is always an improvement to whatever the flavor is naturally.
No, okay. Hypothetical question. If somebody gave you free... Never mind, I'm not going to say it. Moving on.
Were you about to say a free cup of piss?
Yes.
I just said I drank fucking Budweiser.
Yeah, that's fair. It's the same thing.
It's the piss of someone who has once had a beer at some point in their life.
Yes. I mean, Coors isn't that much better, and I live in the state that fucking makes Coors.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, my state has, I think, the largest like microbreweries in the United States.
Oh yeah.
So I don't drink the beer that's produced here anyway, except for I have within a 3-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 microbreweries. I can go to each one of them. So.
Yep. That's the thing that always drives me crazy, because there's so much better beer in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Budweiser's piss. Natty Light is piss that has been filtered through a person twice. And Michelob is piss. A bunch of the standard beers that you hear about. Absolute fucking piss water.
I have it on good authority, though, that Coors is the banquet beer.
Coors, piss.
I even think fucking look. There's a thing with Asian people in the Heineken. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you all know this now. We drink too much damn Heineken. I fucking detest Heineken.
Yeah, and that's because at one point Heineken was fairly decent, from what I hear, and then it just became piss.
Yes.
And the tradition is still there in certain areas where Heineken is still viewed as
Premium beer.
somewhat premium, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I don't like Heineken.
Shouldn't be anymore.
Yeah, I don't like Heineken for shit. But the thing about since in Vietnam, folks drink beer in ice, right? You ever seen that? Yeah.
You have wait, no, ice and beer.
Oh,
That's a European thing, isn't it?
No, it's not so much European. It's Southeast Asian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What they do is they put, fucking a glass full of ice, They pour out the beer and drink it in there. You drink it, then you pour some more beer in there until all the ices are gone, and it's hydration with the beer. You know what I mean, type of deal.
Yep.
And it's fucking hot too, so that helps out.
Yeah.
So
No, I definitely prefer the Japanese method of really tiny cup that is just ice fucking cold.
yeah. So if you ever see like beer in like with ice in there, they've been influenced by Southeast Asians.
Yeah, that's a thing that I've seen when it comes to Thai and Laotian, Filipino, and Indonesia.
Yep.
They'll have iced beer, but when you go further north in Asia, that tends to stop. In Europe, they don't do iced beers as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, iced milk is another thing that is fairly common in certain parts of Asia.
I don't drink milk, so we're good.
Yeah, that's the thing that always confuses me about the fact that iced milk is so prevalent in Asia. Because you guys know the lactose intolerance rate, right?
Yeah, we're fucking high as shit.
Yeah. It's kind of like how the Japanese, for some fucking reason, Japanese culture has decided, yeah, we have like 95% lactose intolerance. Fuck that, cheese is delicious.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I'm partially lactose intolerant. There's certain stuff I can eat ice cream for some weird reason, but like drinking like whey protein powder, I can't fucking do it. I can't. I can drink milk here or there, but I can't like constantly do it. Or I was like,
milk gives me the bubble guts.
Yeah, so milk sensitive rather than complete intolerance.
Yeah, I'm sensitive to it. Yeah, sometimes it gives me the fucking exploding diarrhea. Sometimes it doesn't. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's a stream of fucking goo, and sometimes I'm like, I'm okay for a day.
Yeah, cheese doesn't seem to bother me as much as milk. Like I can have a cheeseburger, I can eat a pizza. And
well,
I'll
that's
be
because the amount of lactose in cheese has vastly reduced.
But yeah,
it's part of the cheese making process. A lot of the lactose is broken down.
The only milk I will drink is whole milk. I'm not doing 2% or skim or any of that nonsense.
Whole milk is the true milk.
Yeah, it's the only milk.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta really want to eat a bowl of cereal or something, you know.
And yeah, Spittlebuggy is correct in cheese making, ice cream making, and also yogurt making. A lot of the lactose is broken down into other compounds, such as lactic acid. That's what gives properly made yogurt its tang. It's the lactic acid in it. Ice cream making and in cheese making, a lot of the lactose has been broken down into a little bit of organic chemistry. If I remember correctly, lactose is galactose and glucose, right? So it's broken down into monomeric lactose and glucose. But yeah, I still find it hilarious that Japan has so many cheese-based dishes, but they have normal Asiatic lactose intolerance distribution. But they're just, fuck it, we like cheese. Yeah, a good chunk of our population is lactose intolerant, but have you had fucking chicken Doria? Motherfucker.
Yep. Well, like I said, I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm just certain applications.
Lactose sensitive.
Yeah, I can't do like the whey protein stuff.
Yep.
But I can drink milk. I can drink milk. I can't, or I can eat ice cream. I just can't eat like a large quantity of it unless I want to be in the bathroom taking a fucking dump every goddamn 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's wrong with taking a dump every 2 hours? You know, sometimes you gotta let it flush out.
Well, that's a shitty situation, you know.
No, well, obviously.
God damn it, that just made me think of the worst EMS call I had when I was an EMT.
Somebody
Uh-oh.
shit themselves. Oh god.
Someone triple dosed themselves with X-Lax.
Ooh.
Wait, triple dosed?
Triple dosed themselves with X-Lax. They were a rather large person. They felt somewhat constipated, so they decided that they would take X-Lax. Because they were a fairly large person, they went, it'll take more in order to properly affect me. So they triple dosed themselves.
Laxatives are like hallucinogenics. You start out small, see how the ride's gonna go. You don't just triple dose that shit right off the bat.
Yep. And the person ended up becoming a ice cream frosty fountain from hell.
Oh.
Where it was just that broken soft serve, constant pour. And that's why, if anyone ever has to deal with anything like that, I highly recommend a old school nurse/EMS tactic of get one face mask, put it on, get a tube of toothpaste, the strongest fucking toothpaste that you can possibly fucking find. Squirt that into your hand. Just paw that all over the first mask that you put on. Get a second mask. Put that on. Now you're just smelling minty fresh as you're going into the room where someone is just constantly seeping.
I don't want to enter a room where somebody is constantly seeping. That does not
Sometimes you
sound
don't
good.
have the fucking choice. And when you don't have the choice, that tactic saves your fucking nose.
What? What are they seeping? Like water?
Shit.
Oh,
They
like
triple
I
dose
said,
themselves
Adam,
on laxatives.
he triple dosed himself on laxatives. He was like a broken frosty fountain.
oh no.
Yeah,
So people like around him are getting sprinkled with shit. Seep to
Okay.
shit.
To give you a clue of how much this man had been shitting at him, he triple dosed himself in the early morning. The transport that I had of this guy was late afternoon, early evening by the time that it ended. He had been shitting since 7.
what an asshole.
Yeah, dude.
I was amazed that I wasn't seeing the person actively deflate in front of my eyes.
Well, you know he's gonna get hemorrhoids. That's a lot of pushing out of that.
It was just
Yeah.
god awful. I mean, just holy shit in the literal sense.
So how about the Mets? They still suck.
Yep.
Oh god, that's speaking of shit. Did you guys hear about what you call it? Facebook and their massive losses.
I did not.
They lost. Let's see.
Last I heard was 700 billion.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
they lost like I don't know 75% of their value, 80% of their value.
Damn.
Yeah, and they just how they said like Twitter was firing like 3,000 people or 2,000 people, whatever, right?
Yep.
Facebook just laid off 11,000. Nobody's talking about it.
I mean, I saw some people talking about it a few days ago, or around the time it was announced that they were going to be laying off 11,000. But yeah, it didn't stick nearly as much as the Twitter layoffs in the public discourse.
But that's
Yep.
because poor Ligma didn't lose his job at Facebook.
Well, is this all like a result of them sinking so much money into the metaverse?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they think there would be a broad appeal for that.
Well, because from my understanding is that Zuckerberg is obsessed with Ready Player One.
Well, okay, fine, but I mean, start off with instead of virtual reality, how about just like altered reality? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Well,
haven't even
I
done
think
much with that.
I think what he probably saw was he had that interest in Ready Player One, but I think he also saw the success of VR chat.
Well, okay, I'm going to be a degenerate here again, and I'm going to point to porn. Porn has led to a lot of different adoptions with technology. You know,
I have
Yeah.
pointed out first that probably the first people that are going to pioneer body augmentation
well,
in the real sense are going to be the porn.
well, let me point out that they had a deal for VR porn for a while. It's not a big like it initially was, you know, kind of a novelty, and then it wore off real fucking fast.
Except
So-
they've been pumping money into teledildodonics, and teledildodonics is taking the fuck off.
Yep.
Look, any
And
change
for
in
anyone that doesn't know teledildodonics is long distance sex, where it's mated sex toys.
Well,
Look.
my point being about with Meta is like, you know, they try exploring altered reality. You know, like, I mean, maybe pick up where Google Glass left off or something, and do something with altered reality that would increase your, I guess, you know, marketability and whatnot.
well, the problem with augmented
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
the problem with augmented reality is that it's not very useful. Like, people don't want to see the real world within that glass, right? What they want to see is the immersion. That's what VR gives them. With AR, augmented reality only allows for, you know, what can be projected in real life world environment. Like, you look at a table, you can project, I don't know, you know, Ken and Ryu fighting, and you're fighting on your desktop. That's cool, whatever, right? But the more practical application for that is like training doctors and training surgeons, training, you know, which had network, well, not network, but like business people with all that stuff. So it's not a consumer base. It's not really consumer based in terms of that, and they can't like consume that, and people, these companies can't sell ads based off of that. VR, you can do that, all that stuff. The technology is not there for all that yet. The problem with Meta is they are trying to go for it without the technology that's available yet.
Yeah,
And Zuckerberg,
just as somebody who's purely on the consumer side, is like that doesn't look. I mean, to me, to my eye, doesn't look any better than like the Wii, Nintendo Wii people. It's on the same level, in my opinion.
well, it is. I mean, they were touting fucking people having legs, but you know what the problem with all that is? The Oculus that they have brought out have sensors for, you know, the eye movement, head movement, the hand movement with the controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
The legs can't be animated because you're gonna have to use some you don't have the point of reference to animate your character's legs, right?
Yeah.
So they
Well, the
came in,
thing is that VR chat already has that solved.
right, but that's using what you call that?
2 additional sensors.
Yeah, with the legs.
Actually, the best way of
But-
doing it has 4 additional sensors because it tracks upper and lower.
right, but Oculus is touting that they didn't find it. They're gonna finally add legs, but the thing is, it was a motion capture thing they showed on video, and not the actual demonstration of the actual legs being captured. Because
Mhm.
because of the way the sensor works is that the headset has to be able to track your legs while you're in. Also, they don't. That's not built into the Oculus. So what they're doing is basically lying to people, saying that your legs are actually there, but they're not. You're sitting on your fucking ass doing nothing.
Yep.
So it's a lot of like smoke and mirror type of deal. And you know the reason why they started moving towards this thing, besides Zuckerberg's obsession with Ready Player One.
Like I said, I think that they're looking at VR chat.
Well, no, because the company is not growing anymore.
Yeah.
They've hit saturation with the user base, so they're putting the chips in one basket, and that basket has a fucking gigantic hole underneath it, and sinking all his money. So instead of like being worth almost $1 trillion, now they're worth maybe 200 million billion. So it's and it's not getting any better. So, and they had to lay off 11,000 people, you know, and a lot of companies are doing the same thing. You know, it's like a lot of these.
What
Go
they're
ahead.
doing is they're being Blockbuster to VR chat's Netflix.
Yes, they are. Yes, that's a good analogy. Yes.
Because they had the option of dumping money into this early. And if they had done this when VR chat was still trying to get off the ground, they would have smothered VR chat in the crib. And they would be the foremost name in VR.
I mean,
But
didn't
they
Walmart
didn't.
have a chance to buy up Amazon or something at some point too?
Yeah, a bunch of these companies had chances. Google offered a option to buy to Yahoo. Yahoo declined. Google now has the major market share. Yahoo is kind of a joke. You have,
That reminds me of you ever see that movie Frequency
I
with
believe so.
Jim Caviezel and Dennis Quaid?
Yep.
Yeah, his buddy growing up, he misses out on buying Yahoo, so that's one of the tips he gives his friend's younger self. You know, Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
Watching that movie now, it's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, what you call that? Blockbuster was offered to Netflix. I mean, Netflix was offered to Blockbuster.
Yep.
They turned that shit down. Look where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do they still
And
have that one location in Oregon, or do they finally close that up too?
that I don't know, but I mean, it still is a dead company.
Yep.
But what you like Spielberg has a point. It's like the equipment price is way too high. Actually, if they actually charge market value for the Oculus, it should be like 4 or 5 times that price.
Mm-hmm.
So what Facebook is losing money on is the hardware for the Oculus plus the software. So they are losing money hand over fist. And Zucky Boy is saying that in order for them to make money, it is going to take them another 10 years. They don't have the capital for another 10 years of loss.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Zucky Boy is probably going to bankrupt that company here in the next year. So,
Oh, I just saw the ghost of Greta Thunberg's future.
Oh no.
Which
This
is
72-year-old woman biked from Sweden to Egypt to attend COP27. Her goal? To ask conference leaders if they feel ashamed about not doing more to phase out fossil fuels or thinking about future generations.
well, Greta has Asperger's, so I doubt she has the stamina to do all that shit. The only
But
reason,
she crewed a boat by herself.
no, she didn't. No, she no, fuck no. Uh, she sailed across the fucking the ocean by herself. Like I fucking crossed the street without getting fucking hit by a bunch of
Cryptic. Don't you blame her bullshit on Asperger's?
no, yeah, no. Look, she had a whole fucking crew with her. There was no way to fucking hell did she not fucking had a whole crew with her. Her parents are fucking rich. She's a fucking spoiled little brat that had
Well,
everything handed to her.
if I'm not mistaken, like they had to fly a crew over to crew the
Yes.
ship back while she was doing her little tour,
Mm-hmm.
which completely negated the whole point of rowing her boat across the seas in the first place.
Yeah. Well, even then, doing her boat was well, which it followed by her maintenance crew. You know what I mean? So it wasn't exactly a what's called an authentic thing.
Well,
So,
I mean, is anything about that kid authentic? Really?
no.
Remember the train conductor called her out for posts about riding a train in Germany or whatever.
I don't remember that one, but
She
I
was
mean,
sitting on the floor, I guess she was saying, it was such a rough ride or whatever. It's like, no, bitch, you've got your own cabin. Like, why are you sitting on the floor? Like, well, why are you posting about sitting on the floor? What you got a seat, you know?
well, the thing is, she's as authentic as fucking David Hogg as when on that day in Florida when he rode his bike to the fucking
Bike to school?
yeah to be part of the aftermath instead of telling the truth like he wasn't there.
Cannibalistic says, I'm surprised Greta doesn't have an OnlyFans. Don't you put that evil out in the world, sir.
And Spitterberg said Facebook should bought Chatterbait. No. Because you know
Think
why?
about it this way, Camel. At least it would shut her up for a bit.
No. I mean, did you? First of all, do you really want to see how many sick freaks will pay to see her naked?
Well,
I told you about the crazy bitch that made it like almost $3 million in 2 years, killed her boyfriend.
Yep.
Oh, did y'all read about that? Maybe she's maybe a 4 or 5 on my scale at least. She was going to school to be an engineer. She's in England, right?
Mm-hmm.
She quit because she's like, I'm too good looking to be working every day, blah 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 type of deal.
Oh, I think I saw a screenshot like too pretty for a 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
No, sweetheart, you should definitely finish that degree and be thankful for just a 9 to 5.
Yeah, she's average at best, and then I'm like, yeah.
We need to bring back bullying. Like too many kids these days have an overinflated sense of self, and we really need to pop that bubble. I brought up earlier about the whole FX or FTX people with the Chinese harem polyamory. My favorite reply to that tweet was, "This is what happens when nerds don't get bullied."
Yes.
Like, we need to bring it back. You know,
We need to give people back their fucking reality instead of being everybody being special. It's like, you're not special. Just, you know.
I mean, look at Greta. Like, she gave that speech. Like, I should be in school right now. I was like, yeah, bitch, you should. Why are we even listening to you? You know, that you should have stopped right there. Like, yeah, why aren't you there right now? Oh, this is so important. If it's so important, why should we listen to you about it? Go hit them books, kid. Leave this to the adults.
And at a certain point, you have to just fucking admit, she isn't on a school strike. She's just a dropout.
Yeah.
Yes. And you
well,
know,
I think when that first came about, like, people were like, she's just a dropout. It's like, oh well, actually, in Sweden, yada yada yada. You know, like school age. You know, high school ends at like 16, so no, she's not a dropout. They're like, well, then she's not. Is she in college? No. Well, she said she should be in school right now. So get her ass enrolled and get her off the fucking stage.
Yep.
Oh, don't get me started on the bug eaters, spittle buggy. Every now and then that pops in my timeline about eating cricket protein or this or that. It's like no. Yeah.
cricket is what we should say for the sound of fucking people talking. Like, fuck you. We're not listening to you.
I will stick to the three main food groups of cow, chicken, and pig. Thank you very much.
How about cow, pig, dog? Well, no, it's.
I mean, you had me until dog.
Okay. It's a cartoon, okay?
You mean man, bear, pig?
No. It's a cow.
Well, there was cow and chicken, and there was cat, dog. I remember those.
No, cow and chicken. There you go. Cow and chicken.
Dog everything.
Two angry beavers.
Yeah, Mama had a chicken. Mama had a cow. Dad was proud. He didn't care how. I remember that show.
Yeah, Sanguine. It's two of those is just two women. That's all it is.
I remember watching the show Angry Beavers. I don't recall anything about it, to be honest with you. I know I watched it as a kid, but
Norbert? You don't remember Norbert?
I didn't even no. Like, I aside from the designs of the two main characters, I don't remember the other one's name. I don't remember any of the shenanigans they got up to. I'm still amazed that I watched Rocko's Modern Life as a kid, and nobody ever cottoned on to the fact that he was working as a phone sex operator.
Yep.
Like, none of the adults in my life ever noticed that little bit, because I mean, isn't he at work, like, in part of the opening sequence, like the theme song or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Look, if I was a phone sex operator, like, oh hello, how you
Well, no,
doing?
That's an actual line he's giving at work. He's like, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Cryptic, you have to start it properly. Sucky $5. Then you can do the hero.
No. It'd be like, hello, how you doing, girl? $5, me, sucky, licky, you. Okay.
Okay, as long as it's included. Because if not, someone's demanding a refund.
No, I say this. Okay, I talk like this forever. Okay, from now on, I talk like this on the stream. I talk like this. God, I can't keep that up for that long. Jesus Christ.
And shit, I just noticed the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's something to leave off on if you're getting ready to close up. Somebody tweeted out, would you run around your neighborhood naked for $10 million? Like, I mean, you're definitely going on a list. Is that worth 10 mil?
Yes, it is. Because you know why? Once you get the money, you serve your whatever, like a few months in prison, you go to the middle of nowhere where even if you're on the list, you're in the middle of nowhere. Nobody gives a shit, right? There you go.
I mean, how am I losing out to taxes? Like, is this like tax free? Because I mean,
Well, even if you
That
get
does
taxed,
massively affect it. Yeah.
if you're willing to do it for 10 million, are you going to be able? Are you going to be willing to do it for like 4.7 after Uncle Sam takes his cut and everything?
oh, it's still good fucking living for 4.7.
I mean, do I have to do it today, as it stands right now, reading this tweet? Because it's mighty cold out there, and I don't want to have to
I would do it in a heartbeat right now because
pull a
It is cold.
Costanza and be like, hey man, shrinkage,
it's 17 degrees outside. I don't give a fuck who sees me butt naked because it's cold.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey, look.
I enjoy Ray Stevens as much as the next person, but I'm not running outside nothing but tennis shoes and a smile right now. No, sir.
Look,
Currently, it says for me when looking at the weather, snow to stop. I wouldn't even be able to be seen with how white I am.
look. If I go outside right now and I shrink, I mean, it's not gonna be a big loss. I'm just saying. I mean, but
Speaking of snow, I heard like up in the Northeast they're getting like 3 to 4 feet this weekend, something like that.
Damn.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, I've had snow every night.
And they still expect like the Bills game to be played in Buffalo.
no, they actually moved it.
Oh, they moved it?
Yeah, it's been moved because I'm a little bitch. NFL's becoming a little bitch. They don't have the snow games anymore.
I mean, I'd have so much respect for the Bills and the Bills fans if they actually played the game in their stadium like that.
Oh, they did it before. They've had worse fucking storms, and they did it.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
they couldn't
I mean,
keep
that's
it
my point, though.
clean.
It's like,
I've had
have
games.
way more respect for you guys if you went ahead and did it.
I had games in freezing rain that I had to break the ice off every time that I came off the field before I went back on.
Deep.
Because I was covered in just complete fucking rime.
Those
were fun games.
Yeah, I've got too many questions to give a firm yes or no as to whether or not I'd run around my neighborhood naked for 10 minutes. Are we talking like the block? Like how are we defining neighborhood?
Neighborhood. So neighborhood for me, it's a couple blocks of houses, and you're like within a mile.
So we were gonna be closing out the shop, huh?
Yep. But then we got distracted by would you run naked for $1 million or for $10 million?
Because I mean, like for me, like I said, that's the neighborhood is just the block. I mean, I'd consider that. Like I know most of my neighbors like, hey man, keep the kids inside. Keep them away from the windows. I gotta make this money.
Mm-hmm.
But
at this hour, none of the kids are out. I'm willing to do it right now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, as long as it's not like time dependent, it's like, no, man, you gotta do it like high noon, something like that.
Put the money on the table, and
I'm definitely gonna want to count that before I go ahead and drop trowel. Yeah, like money's gotta be on the table. I gotta, you gotta have like a counting machine, or
the bank counting machine.
And wait for me to do it myself. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000.
And I need the completely legit write up for it. All the proper tax forms filled.
Oh no, tax free. I want if I'm doing this for 10 million, I'm getting 10 million, not breaking off half for Uncle Sam. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You give me $10 million and you go ahead and pay the tax on that $10 million. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
$10 million. All right.
But shall we go to parting words?
Yes.
I
Who
suppose.
wants to go first?
Don't get a wedgie when you sleep. It sucks when you wake up because that's asinine. That's my parting word.
Adam?
Damn it, Cryptic.
Dude, wedgies suck. Yeah, dude. I appreciate you letting me hang out with you on a Friday evening. And for both the panel and the chat, all you lovely chat this evening. Love y'all and God bless.
Copy that. Camel?
If somebody offers you $10 million to run around naked, ask questions.
Good advice. Before I leave off with my standard, I would bring up that if I ever was offered anything to do a task, my demand would be tax exemption. Just like fucking Buscemi in... God damn it. Why am I
Armageddon.
blanking? Yes, Armageddon.
Ooh, yeah.
And with that, I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. Have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Let everybody.
Night.
Don't buy the used sex toys.
But they
Getting
got
a
really good
second
discounts.
parting statement. Goodbye, all.
Goodbye.